All right, time for NBA Australia's Power Rankings. We are back. That's right, it's halfway through the NBA season. And I'll tell you what, we've got some horrible bloody NBA teams, don't we? Absolute butt are the Utah Jazz. It's a soft J, and they're a soft block. They're that bad. So are Brooklyn. We've got Box Hill Benny on this team, and they stink. They traded for D'Lo. He cares less about basketball than just about anything. It's like, hey, Jim, what do you love? I'm like, tins and basketball. And D'Lo, what do you like? He's like, nothing. He's such a dork. The Washington Wizards are also utter butt. You can't watch them. They're just an absolute train wreck, that team. Now, the next tier is the bad, but they also suck tier. That's the Sixers. They're horrible. They're like 11 games under 500. Embiid just hurt his knee again. They're cooked. It's over, Sixers. Pack her up, boys. Paul George is like, I made a horrible mistake. Jimmy Butler's like, I don't even want to go back there. Portland, they're bad, but they also suck. They have these flashes where you're like, hey, Scoot Henderson, he's good. And then they have like flashes where it's like, hey, did they just lose by 58? Oh, God. The Toronto Raptors, they've been battling these weird injuries all year. They can't seem to get like a bit of clear sledding. They're okay, but they also suck, if that makes sense. And you watch them, you're like, you shouldn't be as bad as you are. And they're like, nah, Jim, we're sorry, we're bad. The Hornets, they're bad, but they also suck. They should be in the bad but fun tier, but they just lost Brandon Spindles Miller, and I hate Miles Bridges. So they're going in the bad, but they also sucked here. And then the Chicago Bulls. Pour one out for the poor Bulls fans. Yeesh. I mean, Josh Giddey, he finally got a bit of an offense going, but that team is just completely bereft of any sort of direction. It's like, are we going to make the playoffs? Probably not. It's like, you're going to get a high draft pick? Probably not. You're like, hooray, we're the Chicago Bulls. Well done, Jerry Reinsdorf. The bad bit fun tier. Is this the Golden State Warriors? Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Steph Curry is like, oh, I just need a little bit of help. And they're like, no, you will get no help. There's Draymond. And Draymond's like, I'm hurt. Everything hurts. I'm old. I want to go fight Eastern European dudes. He wants to be a UFC fighter more than he actually wants to be an NBA player. What are we doing here? The Warriors stink, but they are still fun to watch, aren't they? The Pelicans, they're bad, but they are fun because now they've got some of their dudes back. So they're all right. The Pistons, they're actually maybe a little bit good, but they're kind of still a bit bad every so often. Sometimes they just go on like, I don't know, 8-game winning streaks. I love this Pistons team. They are bad, but they are very fun. And same goes for the Spurs. They went 1-6 in the last 7 games. They're bad, but you got Wemby out there. He's 7'40". That's just fun. You got Chris Paul yelling at everybody like just the aggrieved dad. What are you doing? Don't go that dark. Get that out of your mouth. Like that sort of vibe. The no chance tier. These teams have absolutely no chance of winning the title. That'll be your Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers. The Lakers stink. The Phoenix Suns. Brad Beal is like, yeah, you can't trade me. And the Suns are like, can you just go? And he's like, nah, can't do it. He's got him over a barrel. Imagine being held over a barrel by Brad Beal. It's like, we're going to pay him $50 million, but he sucks. It's like, yeah, well done, Phoenix. The Miami Heat, same thing, but with Jimmy Butler. He's not as bad as Bradley Beal. The best thing is when they get traded for each other. It's like, you're the problem now. Then you got the Kings, the Kangs. They got no chance. They're kind of crummy. They're kind of good. They've got Doug Christie in charge. They've won the most games on the last 12 games out of everybody in the NBA right now, but there's still no chance, right? Keon Ellis, weapon though. The fine, maybe-ish tier. The Atlanta Hawks, they're fine, maybe-ish. Jalen Johnson's awesome. Dyson Daniels, the Great Barrier Thief, awesome. Trae Young can shoot again. The rest of the team, I just don't know. They're fine, maybe-ish. The T-Wolves, they're close to the bad but fun tier. That's how bad they've been. Ant-Man just losing it. They lose to Memphis today. The Wolves, they're fine. They should be really good, but they're just fine. The Mavs without Luka, they're fine, maybe-ish. I don't know. Dan Gafford just gave the old don't trade me game the other day. And the Magic, they're in absolute just straits of just problems right now. Paolo Banchero has come back, but he needs a bit of readjustment. They'll be fine, maybe-ish, I guess. But it's all a weird tier, that one, right? Now, the playoff teams. These teams are the ones that you just like, roll gold, we're laughing. The Clippers, they've been surprisingly excellent. You never even noticed it, did you? But just go have a look. They got their heads kicked in by the Bulls or whatever. The Pacers, they're absolutely on a tear. And the Nuggets, basically Aaron Gordon back. Michael Porter Jr.'s pulled his head in. Jam and Jamal Murray's figured out how to play basketball again. They're flying. So they're all playoff teams. They're all good. The smashing tin, stacking wins tier. Now, the Boston Celtics weren't in this tier until they beat the sans hell out of the Warriors by 40 points. The biggest loss the Warriors had at home since 1985. That's insane. So Boston are back up into the smashing tin, stacking wins tier. Good on you. The New York Knickerbockers of New York City, they beat Atlanta. Good win by them. They're stacking wins, smashing tins. Milwaukee, they're actually just winning games now. That's novel. Doc Rivers is like, oh, this is great. This isn't the playoffs, is it? And then you got the Houston Rockets. Love them. They had a very stupid loss in the Thompson Twins battle. That's a horrible band, by the way. Thompson Twins, just the worst. But the basketball playing dudes, awesome. Houston, they lose that game to Detroit, who I said, as earlier, bad but fun. But Houston, they're awesome. They're rad. Just a bad night for them against Detroit. How do you get outplayed by Jalen Duren? LP Şengün, just saying. And then finally, smashing tin, stacking wins. My beloved Memphis Grizzlies. That is a team. Desmond Bain and Ja Morant. They're crushing it. They're awesome. And then, of course, the elite tier. The two teams that are just head and shoulders above everybody else. Cleveland. The Cleveland Cavaliers and my beloved Zombie Sonics, the OKC Thunder. I still can't, actually support them, but they're great. SGA is going to win the MVP. J-Dub is crushing it. Alex Dukas had a career high. Dukas, mate. He had 9 points. It was awesome. He had a career high 9 points the other day in garbage time. The Thunder are great. The Cavs are great. They are elite. Probably one of those two is going to win the title. There's your power rankings halfway through the NBA season.